Every organization eventually faces disruption, from system crashes, ransomware attacks, hardware failures, or natural disasters. Annexes A.8.13 and A.8.14 of ISO/ISC 2701 exist to ensure that, when these inevitable failures occur, information and critical processing can survive. Backup and redundancy are the twin safeguards of resilience. Backups protect the data itself, while redundancy ensures the systems that use it remain available. Together, they form the backbone of operational continuity and the assurance that business functions can endure shocks without catastrophic loss. ISO groups these controls not as afterthoughts, but as central pillars of trust in an ISMS. They transform unpredictable events into recoverable incidents by ensuring that availability, one of the triad principles of information security, is systematically protected through design.
Annex A.8.13 establishes the expectation that organizations must safeguard all critical information through structured, reliable backup processes. This means more than simply making copies of data. It requires a strategic program of backup scheduling, verification, and testing aligned to the organization's unique risk environment. Backups must account for operational needs, business priorities, and regulatory mandates, ensuring that the right data is retained for the right amount of time. When executed properly, a backup strategy becomes an invisible safety net, protecting against accidental deletion, corruption, or deliberate attack, and allowing recovery to proceed swiftly with minimal data loss or business disruption. Different backup strategies exist to balance storage efficiency, recovery time, and data fidelity. Full backups capture every file in a dataset, providing a complete snapshot but consuming significant space and time. Incremental backups record only changes since the last backup, saving storage but requiring multiple files to restore. Differential backups sit between the two, storing all changes since the last full backup for faster recovery. Organizations often mix these types to achieve optimal coverage. Storage design adds another layer of complexity. On-premises storage provides control and speed, while off-site or cloud-based copies add geographical protection. Some environments use real-time replication or snapshots, creating near-instant restore points. Across all methods, encryption must protect backup confidentiality, ensuring the safeguard itself doesn't become a new source of risk. Effective backup management demands consistency and oversight. Backup frequency should reflect data criticality. Mission-critical systems may require hourly snapshots, while less essential data might be archived weekly. Retention periods must comply with legal, contractual, and operational requirements, striking the right balance between availability and privacy. Backup environments must remain logically separated from production systems to resist ransomware or insider tampering, ensuring that backups remain untouched even if primary systems are compromised. Monitoring systems must track job success and failure rates, alerting administrators when backups fail or deviate from schedule. Without this discipline, even the most sophisticated backup technology becomes an unreliable safety net. Auditors reviewing A.8.13 compliance expect to see structured governance and evidence of reliability. A formal backup policy should assign clear roles and responsibilities, detailing which systems are covered, how often backups occur, and how recovery is verified. Logs showing completed and failed backup jobs prove that the process operates consistently, not sporadically. Test restore reports, including recovery point objectives, RPOs, and recovery time objectives, RTOs, demonstrate that backups can be restored successfully within expected timelines. An inventory of backup media and storage locations, including off-site or cloud repositories, confirms that data copies are accounted for and traceable. Together, this documentation provides confidence that backup processes aren't just theoretical but operationally sound. The importance of these practices is often underscored by costly failures. In some ransomware incidents, both production and backup copies were encrypted simultaneously because backups were online and unsegregated. Other organizations discovered during crises that their backups were corrupted or incomplete, revealing that they had never been properly tested. In yet other cases, retention mismanagement resulted in compliance fines for failing to preserve records for mandatory durations.
Beyond the technical consequences lies reputational damage. Customers lose trust when data can't be recovered or when services stay offline for days. These examples demonstrate that backup testing is not a luxury. It is the only proof that recovery will work when needed most. Different sectors tailor backup strategies to their operational realities. Financial institutions maintain long-term archives spanning decades to meet regulatory and forensic needs. Hospitals prioritize availability of patient data to ensure continuity of care, using redundant clinical systems alongside backups. SaaS providers maintain multi-tenant restore capabilities to recover customer environments after data loss or human error. Government agencies implement secure archival systems to preserve legal evidence and public records. Though the specifics vary, the underlying goal remains constant. Continuity of information equals continuity of trust. When executed with rigor, disciplined backup practices deliver profound benefits. They enable rapid restoration of critical operations following an outage or cyber attack, drastically reducing downtime and data loss. They provide protection against ransomware by maintaining clean, immutable copies of vital systems. Regulators and clients gain confidence knowing that data integrity is preserved through tested recovery measures. Finally, documented backup success reinforces readiness for business continuity audits, turning resilience into measurable assurance. Backup controls may operate quietly in the background, but they represent some of the most vital expressions of operational security maturity. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Annex A.8.13 builds on the logic of backup by addressing a different but equally crucial element of resilience, redundancy of processing facilities. While backups protect information, redundancy ensures that the systems using that information can continue functioning even when a primary site fails. It is the architectural embodiment of the phrase, "no single point of failure." Redundancy keeps essential services alive during power outages, hardware failures, network disruptions, or full-scale data center losses. ISO/IEC 27000 includes this control to remind organizations that business continuity depends not just on recovering data, but also on keeping critical systems running without interruption. True resilience means operations never stop, they simply shift. The scope of A.8.14 encompasses all computing facilities and infrastructure that support business-critical functions. Redundancy can take many forms, scaled to match an organization's size and risk profile. For some, it might mean maintaining a secondary data center capable of full production load. For others, it may involve distributed cloud deployments, ensuring workloads can instantly migrate between regions. The central requirement is that critical processing remains available despite localized failures. Redundancy planning is inherently proportional. Smaller organizations may rely on service-level agreements, SLAs, with cloud providers, while large enterprises build entire parallel infrastructures. The key is deliberate design rather than ad hoc improvisation when disaster strikes. Several redundancy models exist, each defined by the speed at which systems can resume operations. A hot site maintains real-time replication of data and services, allowing immediate switchover with minimal downtime, ideal for industries like banking or healthcare where interruptions can be life-threatening or financially catastrophic. Warm sites hold synchronized backups and can be activated within hours, balancing cost and responsiveness. Cold sites provide basic infrastructure ready to receive restored data, but may take days to become fully operational, suitable for lower priority workloads. Modern organizations increasingly adopt active cloud architectures, distributing processing across multiple regions or availability zones so that failover occurs seamlessly and often automatically. Designing redundancy effectively requires attention to both technology and geography. Facilities must be geographically separated to prevent shared exposure to regional threats such as natural disasters, power grid failures, or political instability. Diversity among telecommunications and power providers reduces dependency on single suppliers. Redundant sites should maintain consistent patching, configuration, and security baselines with production to avoid drift that might cause unexpected failures during switchover. Automated failover mechanisms are essential for minimizing downtime, yet manual override capabilities should always exist to ensure control during complex recovery scenarios. Documentation must capture all these design choices, demonstrating that redundancy is systematic, not accidental. Testing redundancy arrangements is perhaps the most decisive factor in proving their effectiveness. Organizations must regularly simulate full-site outages to verify that failover works as intended. Performance testing under simulated load conditions reveals whether redundant systems can handle real-world demand, not just theoretical capacity. Once operations are transferred, failback procedures, returning services to the original facility, must also be validated to confirm stability and synchronization. Every exercise should end with a documented lessons learned review, feeding improvements back into both technology and process. Testing turns resilience from assumption into certainty, ensuring continuity plans deliver when pressure peaks.
Auditors reviewing A.8.13 compliance focus on tangible, operational evidence. They expect to see detailed redundancy design documents mapping primary and secondary processing sites, data flows, and dependencies. Test records must show that switchover procedures succeed within defined timeframes, supported by metrics such as recovery time objectives, RTOs. SLAs with hosting providers or cloud vendors confirm guaranteed uptime and support expectations. Incident reports referencing real failures or disaster recoveries provide proof of operational readiness. These artifacts illustrate that redundancy is not theoretical, but actively maintained as a living part of the ISMS. Failures due to absent or inadequate redundancy are among the most publicized operational disasters in technology history. Data center fires have taken major online platforms offline for weeks because no secondary sites were available. Airlines have grounded thousands of passengers after a single server failure disrupted scheduling systems. Organizations hosting services exclusively in one cloud region have suffered massive outages when that region experienced a cascading failure. Even manufacturers have faced production halts because shared infrastructure, such as control networks or power circuits, lacked isolation. Each event reveals a simple truth: redundancy costs less than prolonged downtime. Across industries, redundancy plays out in different yet equally critical forms. Telecommunications networks rely on multiple facilities to balance loads and maintain call routing during outages. Global e-commerce platforms mirror databases across regions so that shoppers never see interruptions. Healthcare institutions maintain emergency systems that remain online even during natural disasters, supporting patient care when hospitals lose connectivity. Defense and intelligence agencies often operate mirrored facilities running parallel operations, ensuring national security systems never rely on a single location. Whether digital or physical, redundancy represents resilience in motion. Annexes A.8.13 and A.8.14 operate as two halves of the same continuity equation. Backups restore data, redundancy restores processing. One ensures information can be recovered, the other ensures systems have somewhere to run. Without backups, redundancy merely preserves failure. Without redundancy, backups are useless until recovery begins. Together, they create an unbroken chain of availability, enabling organizations to maintain confidence under stress and prove readiness to auditors assessing business continuity planning. ISO's framework makes clear that security isn't only about defending against attack, it's about surviving whatever comes next with minimal impact. When implemented cohesively, these controls provide both operational and reputational assurance. They demonstrate to stakeholders, regulators, and customers that the organization values preparedness, continuity, and reliability as core elements of trust. In practice, A.8.13 and A.8.14 transform crisis response into controlled recovery and panic into precision. They elevate resilience from a hopeful goal to a proven capability, ensuring that when one part of the system fails, the enterprise as a whole endures, learns, and continues without hesitation. This level of reliability defines not just a mature ISMS, but a dependable organization ready for the unpredictable realities of the modern digital world.